Hi, I'm Claire, and this is my review of Arsenic for Tea by Robin Stevens. This is a Wells and Wong mystery, and it's the sequel, the follow-up to Murder Most Unladylike, which was published last year, and which I adored. So I was really impatient to get my little grubby hands on this one, so I pre-ordered it, got it on the day of release. I read it in a couple of days. That weekend I could not stop finding excuses to have a sit down and a cup of tea and a biscuit and read the book, or have a nice long bath and read the book. Just like the first one, it's got a fairly simple but really gorgeous cover that focuses on the title and a few important elements from the book. So we've got this watch and this here key that will be important in the book, but of course the star of the show is the arsenic. This is a country house murder mystery. It's Easter 1935 and Daisy is going home to her family's estate, Follingford, for the holidays, and she has invited Hazel to come along with her because it's her birthday and her mother is throwing this lavish birthday party affair that's going to last a whole weekend and of course feature prominently afternoon tea. So we meet the party guests fairly quickly. Of course, Daisy's parents, Lord and Lady Hastings, are going to be there, but apart from them, we've got Daisy's brother and a friend of his and some more friends of Daisy and Hazel's from their own boarding school, and of course some of Daisy's extended family. We've got her aunt, who's very, very eccentric and kind of likes to steal things, and we've got Daisy's uncle, who is really handsome and smooth and maybe a spy. So apart from the family, we meet the servants, of course, and then Daisy's governess, and we also meet a guest of Lady Hastings, a Mr. Curtis, who happens to be quite rude and unpleasant, and really no one likes him because he comes in and meets Lord Hastings, and the first thing that he says is, "Oh, hello, I'm a friend of your wife." And he kind of keeps going like that. So, of course, Daisy and Hazel straight away dislike him very, very much, and it looks as though he's going to leave fairly soon because he has an altercation with Daisy's father, Lord Hastings, who says to him that he should leave his house straight away. But before Mr. Curtis, the unpleasant, can leave, he drinks tea that tastes really funny at tea time, at Daisy's birthday tea. And then he falls ill. And then he dies. And this comes fairly shortly after the location of the giant pot of arsenic that is used to deal with the rat problem is revealed loudly to everyone. Of course, this comes roughly at the same time as all the roads around Follingford are flooded. No one can come in, no one can come out, and the police can't come until the roads are cleared. So there's some time for Daisy and Hazel to do some detectiving. As with the first book, it is entirely written in Hazel's point of view as she takes notes for the Detective Society. Daisy is still the intrepid president of the Detective Society, but most of the suspects in this case are related to her, and she loves them and doesn't want to suspect them of murder, but they have to be on the suspect list, and that's part of what makes this book a really great, intense read. But I also love the idea that Mr. Curtis was not at all a nice person, and that gives Hazel the occasion to reflect on the fact that Mr. Curtis, despite being an absolutely rude and unpleasant person, did not deserve to die, and that he, despite being a rude and unpleasant person, absolutely deserves justice. And it also means that Daisy has to do a lot of growing up in not only seeing all of her family members as potential suspects, but also in reflecting on the fact that her mother is clearly having a kind of boyfriend on the side that she's inviting to her daughter's 14th birthday, which, by the way, who does that? That's not okay. We've also got Kitty and Beanie, who are Hazel and Daisy's friends from school, who have also been invited to the birthday, and they quickly suss out that something is going on with Daisy and Hazel that they're not saying, and they insist on being part of the detective society, and they get to help out with this case, which I thought was really, really lovely, because in the previous book, Daisy and Hazel always have to hide the detective stuff from everybody else around. I think it would have been a lot harder for Daisy and Hazel to hide the detective society from the other girls in a house rather than it is in a boarding school. As an adult and as a writer, I found it pretty difficult to believe that a children's book would actually make a close family member of the protagonist be a murderer, and having the protagonist kind of deal with those emotions. Because I've read the first one and I kind of know the tone of the series, it was really difficult for me to buy into the possibility of it. I absolutely bought that Hazel and Daisy would be worried about it, but I didn't think it was something that really could happen. But it was a really small thing, and overall I really, really liked this book, and I thought the resolution made absolute sense. And again, like the first book, I loved that the police just turns up at the end. Daisy and Hazel say, "We know who done it, we can prove it," and all the adults are like, "What did these little girls do?" Because all through the book, everybody keeps mistaking Daisy's age for younger than she actually is and calling her a little girl, and she gets really annoyed with that. So this was my review of Arsenic for Tea by Robin Stevens. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below if you've read this book, or if you've read the first one, or if you've got anything in that vein to recommend to me, because I really haven't read a lot of middle grade young adult mysteries, and I really enjoyed this. If you're interested in Murder Most Unladylike, the first book in the series, you can watch my boarding school books video right here. Or if you just want to catch up with me, I just did the social media book tag, which you can find right here. And of course, you can subscribe for more bookish videos every week. I've been Claire, thanks so much for watching, and see you soon.